Well, it failed. Luckily, nothing is broken. From what I can tell, everything looks like it's in good shape. So we'll try to drop it again. Hello, my friends. This is the last t-shirt day of the year, I think. Tomorrow it's supposed to get around 21 degrees. For you northerners that are laughing at me over that, I don't care. It's cold. But anyway, let me show you what I got going on here. I have got new sand. This batch I mixed up yesterday, and it has a special additive in it to reconstitute the refractories, the coal dust, and all that good stuff. It's specially formulated to my needs. Anyway, this is a trial. We're going to see how this does. And it won't be in this video because this stuff is still too wet. I had to jab holes all the way through to the bottom to help aerate this. And with it getting below freezing tomorrow morning, it may take another 2 or 3 days before this is usable. So anytime you make new Foundry sand, it has to be cycled a couple times. That doesn't mean you have to ram it up and pour metal in it. No. It means it has to be mulled, fresh, with additives. The duration of time required, and depending on the atmosphere, your clay has to slowly absorb that moisture and balance it out. So now that the first step of it's done, it's going to be remolded before using it for a sand mold. And I made a mold of it last night just to see how it was going to work. And it worked just great. The detail is beautiful. And yeah, I think we're going to be happy with this. So this is Strong River sand. What I mean about that is it came out of Strong River, which is only a few miles from here. This stuff is fine. And I keep it covered with a tarp, thinking I was going to be keeping it dry, but the main purpose of that was to keep the wind, which we have here at Windy Hill Foundry, from blowing it away. So I've had this for over 2 months as I have been waiting for my additive to go with the sand, and now I'm going to start mixing these batches as you saw the first batch being made in there. So when it's over with, I'm probably going to get another 10 yards of sand delivered after we use this up, and we're going to fill the entire pouring bay with it. Which means all this stuff has to go. I'm going to leave that furnace. But the rest of this stuff is going to be off the floor. And it's going to be sand from this wall to that ceiling. Well, probably not that high. And that's my old sand right there. Some of it. But yeah, I'm excited about this. We have been having problems with burn-in. And I had somebody suggest we need to put coal dust in it. I have been putting coal dust in it. For the last 10 years, I've been putting coal dust in it. After a while, it just breaks down. And, you know, some of these iron parts are just fine, like this. I mean, the detail is beautiful. And this was just wire wheeled. But when they come out of the sand, they look like this. And with the new sand, they should come out looking just like that. My Weeble Wobble shaking machine, I missed the coupler, whatever was in there. It came loose on me the other night, about hit me in the head. So I got to get that fixed. This is a very handy rig. This thing will sieve more sand faster than you can pour it in by the bucket. So I have had some issues going on. So I've been pouring a lot of bronze this last month, repouring bronze, repouring it. And these are okay, I think. This is what I'm running into. See that shrink cavity? And I'm putting a riser on it, and it's still doing that. Well, we're gonna resume this in about 2 or 3 weeks as I focus back on iron jobs. Before I can get back on the iron jobs, I've got a problem. This lathe that I was going to take and put in storage is too heavy. So, and yeah, I already flipped it one time, thinking I was going to be able to pick it up and set it on the, I wanted to pick it up with the tractor first to make sure. It's my dad's little tractor, and it's too heavy for that little tractor. And he's got a backhoe that'll pick it up. But the problem is that backhoe is a ticking time bomb. I tear up enough stuff. When that thing shuts down, you're talking about close to $5 grand to get the thing to go again. It ain't happening. Nope. So I guess I'm going to put this thing back close to where it was. Since I got sand in the way, I'm going to go ahead and put it over here against the fan, and I'll throw a tarp over it or something until I get the louvers put up. Honestly, if I haven't told you, there's going to be some changes, and that fan is no longer going to be there. It'll probably be put in the wall down here somewhere. I have come to the conclusion that we're gonna go ahead and enclose 12 feet of this end and open that wall up into the other room. Since I have the crane in here all the way to the wall, I can mold back here in the tail section of this bay and send it all the way out there. And the other thing that I'm gonna do, not right now, not right now, but the other thing I'm gonna do, extend this trolley out 24 feet. So this is 12 feet. This is 24 feet. So I will have 48 feet, almost 50 feet of pouring area outside of the building. Now, I cannot be running the furnace on the inside of the building because it's just way too hot. That thing is putting out way too much heat to have trapped up in there. So it's going to all have to be poured out here in this awning, which means we're going to have to continue an awning out here overhead. The next thing I'll have to do, I'll have to take all this ground down to the level of what's in the inside of the building. Right now I'm at about 2 feet above that plane. Yeah, from here it just starts dropping down significantly. So I'm going to be digging a lot of dirt through here to make that happen. And one more thing. My iconic wooden door. It's got to go. My crew that poured the first slab to the building right here, they were kind enough to put a slab with a culvert going under it, kind of in front of the door, and then off to the side. Not centered, off to the side. And which is fine, because that door is fixing to go, and I am fixing to open this. I'm going to make a 6-foot wide service entrance in place of it. And it will stay closed 90% of the time. The only time it'll be open is to bring stuff in and out. Supplies, equipment, you know, that kind of stuff. Because I really need a door big enough to do that anyway. And it may be happening very soon. I'm gonna miss my I'm gonna miss my beautiful door there, but as you can see, it's falling apart. and so is my sign. That was originally going to be a Foundry pattern. I was going to make a big old iron sign, and I just never got around to it. I said, to heck with it, we'll just screw that on the wall. Well, it didn't make it. And then, I don't know if I ever told you guys this. Now, my buddy Sean Thompson, he gave me this anvil. This is cool. It's got an old strap, a boot strap going around it to hold it together because it broke at the waist. And the bolt and nut that are going through it are square. And I asked my good friend Andrew Alexander about that. I said, should I try to repair it? And he said, no, leave it just like that. So I did. The repair was probably done 100 years ago. And then this anvil, this belonged to my great-great-granddaddy. And guess where his blacksmith shop was? It sat right there. There used to be a huge, now, yeah, I think it's probably closer to where my awning is. I'm not sure. It was probably just right off the road here where the parking lot is. But, yeah, they had a blacksmith shop here up until probably my guess is 1920s, 1910, 1920, and then they didn't build. They took the old house, disassembled it, and rebuilt it down lower off the windy hill, which you can't blame them. Old houses back then weren't insulated. They were drafty, which was nice in the summer, but not ideal for winter. Back to my door. I'm going to put a steel, and Stan gave me a bunch of angle iron, Stan Zinkoski. I'm going to be using that to make a angle iron frame, and it will be even with that slab, so it won't be such in, it won't look so out of place. And I'd like to get me another one of these wall lights like that. They're around, but they're never white like that. They're usually green or something like that, which is fine. I'll take 2 green ones in place of it. So this doorway is actually going to open on out to about here where this shelf is. We're going to put this shelf perpendicular to the wall. If in the event we need to bring anything through there, it'll be offset to the edge, so we will have plenty of room without all this junk in the way to get that done. We're very close to getting the spray and insulation put in. I wish it was already done, since tomorrow it's supposed to be 21 degrees, but it ain't. The induction furnace. We're selling it. I have no use for it, guys. I have absolutely no use for this thing. A buddy of mine who has a foundry in Texas has the power to hook right up to it. So this and this are going to be out of here soon. So with that said, the lathe, which is going to temporarily be put back in the hole over here, I'm probably going to set it up in here and clean it up, paint it, and get it back working the way it used to be. And then I'm going to bring that beautiful DeWalt drill press that Eddie gave me, and I'm going to put it in here and get some of this junk out. And this will be kind of a little maintenance area for reworking stuff, like repairing the muller, the furnace, stuff like that. But anyway, that's kind of my immediate plan. Let's do the squeeze test real quick. All right, now let's break it. Fairly clean break. Now, once this runs through the muller, it will be even better. Now, this sand, as I said, it was really wet in the mound, so I didn't have to add any water to it. But my muller, the mulling capacity of my muller is 50 pounds. Because of the moisture that was in that sand, I didn't have to add any water, but I could only mull like 25 pounds at a time, which took me all day, by the way, to keep from tripping the breaker. And So I got that to look forward to. At least I know what to expect the next time, and I know to produce, and that's not a lot of sand. Just to prepare that much of it, I need to set aside one day for it. But I got a pretty good system figured out now. So this is the mix that goes in the sand, and it's called Aditrol. And what I do is I just weigh it out. I pour it in this pail, the whole bag, just in case any of the dense material, just in case there's a variance in the density of the material during shipping, doesn't jog to one end of the bag. I don't want to be scooping it right out of the bag. I wanted to dump it in the pan first and thoroughly mix it, and then scoop it out and weigh it out for each 25-pound batch. Now, when you do it like that, your measuring accuracies are going to be a lot better and more consistent. I could fill this vat with that much sand and then dump 2 sacks. Was it 2 sacks? Yeah, 2 sacks of the mix in there, and then take 3 days hoeing it around, trying to stir it up and flip it and mix it, and then it just wouldn't have been worth it. It's just a lot easier to do it in small batches. So this is some kind of a machine base that came out of Pennsylvania, and Keith Rooker give this to me. It was something he picked up on the road. I am needing some cast iron bases for benches. That's going to be the ideal height. And I'm also going to be making some taller bases that are cast iron that are going to be equally as heavy duty, or they're going to be able to handle as much weight as that. So I'm looking forward to knocking some of those out. I've run my mouth enough. Let's get to it. Well, it tried, but I think we were able to. I went ahead. That little thing, it's got some amazing power as far as pull, but not pickup. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and hook to it and start pulling her on in. All right, so I got the rigging about as good as I'm gonna get because of this cone in the back. It's not flipping on me. I got everything as balanced as it is gonna be. So now to raise this thing up. Now to go over my furnace, I'm gonna have to winch this all the way up, which I have only about 1.5 feet of travel there. That's not going to clear. I got to shorten the leash on it, I think. Actually, alright, my rigging moved on me, so I need to gently lower this down We'll get it as far away from the furnace as I can. Let it slip out here and not in there. I think we'll be fine. Right there. Hooking it this far down will help me clear the molar and everything. I shortened the leash back here, and that didn't help. I may have to take the tailstock off. But I tried to pick up on it, and it was more weight than what that tailstock weighs, so... I didn't have this problem the first time. Yeah, that made a difference. With that said, I'm just going to put a small strap independent from the rest of them, just to keep it kind of tugged that way. Let's make sure it still won't flip. I need to raise it up. I think we're okay. Let me go ahead and get another strap. Now this is a puny tie-down strap, but it's gonna work just fine for what I'm doing here. Tailstock's not even locked down. I told you guys the story behind this this tailstock handle, didn't I? That brass handle. The guy that I bought this from, he repurposed that handle off a Japanese sub. He was a World War II vet. So I'll never part with that handle. Or the lathe. I was young when I bought this lathe. First lathe I ever bought. So it's very sentimental to me. And even though I'm tossing it and turning it all over the place. Eventually I want to clean it all up, repaint it, and get the carriage going again on it. And we'll just run it through the handles. Like I said, there's not enough weight on there to worry about. All right, let's try that. That's level enough. It's completely off the ground, and that's as much as it's going to wiggle and wobble. And we can now lift it 4 feet. Let me get my tape measure out. My food grade tape measure. All right, my bad. 3 feet, which will be ample clearance for everything. Of course, I'm going to stay at a safe distance away from it as I do this. And if anything breaks, pops, snaps, I have got plenty of clearance behind me to go straight back. You don't want your dogs around this. tell you what, that should be enough room to clear the furnace. I'm not going to raise it any higher than I have to until we get to that point. Oh, it's starting to get scary. I got to go up about 4 more inches and to clear the muller, and then I will be able to start easing this thing down. And I'm doing this way back. Already got 1 foot inside the other room. And all that noise popping, the metal popping and stuff, that's a good thing. Boy, this is going to be a tight fit. Airlines right there. All right, let me go around to the back side. See if I can unhook that airline. Got that. Nudge it where I need to. All right, you can kind of see the junk I'm having to deal with here. But I've got it setting on the ground now. But I can't tell you guys how happy I am that I got this thing in here and didn't flip it this time. That's not a good feeling when you flip a machine. But anyway, yeah, I got crucibles I need to clear out over here. And then I'm gonna rehook to the crane from back here. It won't pick it up level, but it will kind of take some of the weight off, and I can tweak it on around with the cant hook. Well, I decided to go ahead while I had the tractor over here and drag some of that dirt down with the box blade just to see what I was going to run into, and it did a pretty good job. I didn't have the rippers down on the blade, if I had, I probably would have been able to take that hump on down some. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but it still goes up. Yeah, look how foggy it is out there. But anyway, the next video, we will be using this sand. And it's been a couple hours since I last did it. I may end up having to use it before I can mull it again. It's going to take a while to dry out. But it is currently 62, and in 10 hours it's going to be 31, and then 7 hours after that it's going to be 21. So I'm looking forward to that. But the good thing is the Carvera Air. I have been wanting to find some downtime to do some more modeling, and it looks like I'll have it. I'll be able to stay inside and stay warm as I do that till this cold front passes. But a lot of things, I got to do a lot of things for tomorrow morning. I've got to back the van up because I have some liquid in a 300-gallon container that I cannot let freeze. So I've got an electric heater in the van. I plug it up. And I'm curious to see what my electrical bill for last month was, let alone what it's going to be like this time. Next video should be a very successful iron pour with our new sand. So stick around and we will see you then. I'll show you the results of how that does. There's a lot of jobs that I've got to get caught up on. We got to cast the rings for the stoker engine, and that will be in next week's video if everything goes as planned. You'll see me again before Christmas, so I'm not going to wish you one yet. I hope you guys have a good remainder of this weekend, and we will see you later. For those who have been asking about the Windy Hill Foundry hats, these are now available on my website, windyhillfoundry.com, under stores, or you can click on the above link. These are on the pricey side, but keep in mind the shipping is included. Have a good day.